Am I the asshole for asking my boyfriend to charge his family member for fraud? Throwaway account. Backstory. I, 27 female, and my boyfriend, 34 male, have been together for 5 years and have worked really hard to save for a house. 2 weeks ago, we fell in love with a house and we put down an initial deposit to hold the property. The house won't be built until the end of 2022. We have been in talks with a mortgage broker and the builder's finance people. Last week, we received some shocking news when my boyfriend's credit score came back as being bad. There was activity on the statement that was 100% not his and a credit card that has gone into default over the last 6 months. This credit card was originally my boyfriend's, but he swears he closed the account and canceled the card in the middle of 2019. Long story short, we discovered that a family member that was living with him a few years ago has gotten a hold of the card at some point and has been using the card on and off since 2019. They defaulted on payments in early 2020, but paid this off, then defaulted again in December of last year, and the account is still in default and over $5,000 is owed in charges and late fees. Charges for shopping, news, agency, takeaway food, and pubs, gambling. My boyfriend has had zero knowledge of this as he hasn't had access to the account after he closed it and hasn't been receiving statements or notices from the bank. The family member has diverted these to their address. We're now unable to successfully apply for a bank loan for our house as they won't lend to my boyfriend with his credit the way it is. Our options are to 1. Proceed with fraud investigations and charges in the family member, allowing us to prove this is of no fault of my boyfriend's and successfully secure the loan, or 2, my boyfriend pays the debt and we wait at least 2 years from the payoff date for his credit to regain some loss. Option 2 will set us back at least 3 years in starting a family and our lives as homeowners. This will also not allow my boyfriend to secure a bank loan to start up his own business he's been dreaming of starting for a few years now. This was the year he planned on. This has devastated us and put a massive delay in our plans. Boyfriend doesn't like conflict and is going with option 2. He isn't even planning on mentioning anything to the family member. He wants it to all go away and thinks this family member is going through a rough time. I want my boyfriend to proceed with fraud charges and investigation. We have worked way too hard to not have our dream house and him owning his own business. So, am I the asshole for pushing option 1 on my boyfriend? Update. I want to begin by thanking everyone for their advice on my original post. There were some really constructive strategies and words of advice. I spoke with my boyfriend about my concerns and was honest with him that things he was telling me didn't all make sense. He was adamant he didn't know anything about the credit card or the apparent inquiries on his credit account about payday loans. My boyfriend is still refusing to open any fraud investigations against his family member and has said he will pay off the debt himself. But some other things came out during our conversation that he was hiding from me. Lying has been a big issue of his during our entire relationship. In the past, I have forgiven him for his lies, but I can't keep forgiving the same issue every few months when he promises to change. But we're in the same spot every few months, and I'm not talking little lies. I'm talking big lies and even bigger lies to cover up the other lies. I know I'm stupid for giving him the benefit of the doubt. So, in saying this, My boyfriend is now my ex-boyfriend. When I spoke with my boyfriend about my concerns above, he ended up picking up his bag and walking out on me and drove away. That was the last time I ever saw him in person. This is how this man dealt with an issue in our 5-year relationship. We haven't spoken much since, but I have definitely resigned to the fact that my relationship is over. I think he is expecting me to forgive him like all the previous times. I have packed up his stuff and will return it to him after my city comes out of our 6th lockdown. There is a good ending to this story, though. I spoke with my mortgage broker and the house developers. I can't afford the original townhouse I fell in love with alone, but a smaller townhouse that I also loved came available, and I've been approved. I paid my deposit 3 days before my birthday last month. I bought a house all by myself. Yay! Am I the asshole for calling my baby's mother petty for not letting me be in the delivery room? My ex and I were engaged but broke it off early into her pregnancy. We had a lot of issues, but our breakup was precipitated by her catching me sexting people behind her back and a couple of flings. Overall, we have kept it amicable through her pregnancy, but I definitely wouldn't call us friends. I called to check on her since she is due within the next month and asked what the plan for delivery was. I guess I assumed I would be in the room when the baby is being born. She told me due to COVID precautions, she is only allowed one person with her while she is in the hospital, and she's going to have her best friend with her. She said that I could meet the baby once the baby gets home. I got angry and told her it was petty and vindictive to not allow me in the room to witness our child's birth. She snapped back and told me she needs someone who brings her comfort and she can be vulnerable with, and that's not me. So, am I the asshole for calling her petty in this situation? Edit to add, since these have been questions in the comments, I cheated on her. Yes, some of it was before she was pregnant. She broke it off because she caught me sexting when we were laying in bed one night, then found out about the other stuff. We ended on the note we would try to be friends for the baby. We were going to try to go to counseling and see if we could fix things and work it out for the baby, but then she caught me in a lie. Not cheating again, but related to lying, trying to minimize her hurt due to what I'd done. And she cut me off completely, other than giving me updates after each appointment and inviting me to a 3D ultrasound. It's been entirely her choice not to be friends with me. Her best friend hasn't even been around for her pregnancy since she's been traveling for work. She's only coming back now to help with labor and recovery, then leaving again. Lastly, part of why I feel it's pettiness motivating her choices is because she's using COVID as a reason to keep my family from meeting the baby. She told me she thinks only my parents should meet her until she gets a bit older, and she wants them to wear masks. But she's still working as a nurse, getting exposed to COVID every single day. So how is it really that much of a concern to her? I feel like this is all about control over our baby. So, am I the asshole?